my God, I'm so excited. I hope you brought me a wig.
This is Officer Oink Salat.
Yeah, oink, oink.
I wish you would have called him Babe.
No, Babe's cute and shouldn't be shot.
Wait, that's a boar, not a pig.
Yeah, because inside every cop is a feral pig that is one comment away from putting your head through a wall. What's that, Officer Oink Salat? Google domestic violence rates in police. Well, you shouldn't trust what this pig has to say, but I would hope everyone at home Googles that. And here's something else about the police. In the same way that obnoxious people who talk too much are drawn to podcasting, as the three of us can attest.
Everyone up.
Everyone up here. And in the same way that people who want to prey on children go to where the children are, violent people are going to be drawn to jobs where they're able to use violence without impunity. It's a small percentage, let me be clear, but cops are human beings, and human beings act in certain ways. So if I'm someone who's a sociopath, I'm going to be a politician. If I'm a loudmouth asshole, I'm going to be a podcaster. And if I'm someone who likes to take out his violence on other people legally, I'm going to end up as a cop.
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yeah, today I'm going to talk about a debate between Michael Knowles and Richard High, or Angry Cops. And it was a police debate and the usefulness of the police force. And, of course, Michael Malice, not Michael Knowles. I said Michael Knowles. Michael Malice is a hardcore anarchist. So he doesn't believe in government at all. So that's kind of my issue with it, because we do have to have some form of government. And Michael Malice is a full-on anarchist. Richard High, or Angry Cops, of course, is a police officer. So they had them on a debate, and Michael Malice came in like guns a-blazing. Like, you could tell he was being serious, like, the entire time, whereas, Richard High, or Angry Cops, is kind of a jokester. He's an entertainer and a jokester. So he came in, and he can get serious, but he was keeping everything kind of relatively friendly, whereas Michael Malice was very, very serious, like, the entire time during the debate. So we're going to kind of review this, kind of get into some of the more interesting and more, I'd say, hot parts of the debate. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me go ahead and I'll fix my screen real quick, and then we'll just go ahead and get right on into this. Let me see here. Transition. There we go. All right, well, let's get this started.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am Tim Poole, your host, along with co-host Alex Stein. This is going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, I think to kick off the great conversation, I will start with the truth, and that is no cop anywhere, for any reason, has ever done anything wrong.
I disagree.
So you guys admit that you're corrupt? Okay, debate, you lost.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, you guys, let's get out of here.
I guess it's over. We'll all give up now and let Baltimore go back to what it was.
Yeah, okay. Because there's no cops in Baltimore. What I want everyone here to realize, because this is something I'm being very serious now despite dressing in my clown costume.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Right. Okay. If you think this is flattering, that speaks to you.
And that kind of sums up his attitude right there during this whole debate. Like, he's being very serious. Like, he's dressed up, he kind of jokingly, but he is being dead serious, like, this entire time.
What I want to point out in all seriousness is it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Communist, Anarchist, Fascist in your day-to-day life. What matters is how you interact with the police. And you need to appreciate that they are not there if they show up to never talk to the police. They are there to hurt you by their own admission. And I want everyone to repeat after me something very simple. It's all I want you to think today. Cops are human beings. Can you repeat that after me? 1, 2, 3. Cops are human beings. And human beings are capable of great heroism and great evil. And you'll hear my colleague throughout today acting as if cops aren't human beings, and they act differently than other human beings. They do not. They are human beings, period, and that means certain corollaries, which I think most of us understand, and what you look forward to us exploring today.
So I have a question, because there's that famous Supreme Court justice.
Castle Rock?
Is that who that was? And he said never talk to the
Oh,
police.
no, he was a former attorney general.
Attorney General.
Yes.
Here's the issue: is that I've had people try to kill me and my
Who's
family.
talking over there?
Someone.
So, getting into it right off the bat, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Police are human beings, and they can be wrong. They can get wrong a lot. And the important part is that they get held accountable for when they are wrong or when they do something wrong. And, I think that there is more accountability nowadays, especially with body cams and everything else that's going on. But he's not wrong. It's like, when body cams aren't working, whose word's going to get taken over? Whose word's going to be taken more serious? It's going to be the police officer. So he's not wrong. And, all human beings are fallible. It's the fault of man is that we're all fallible. And then let me fast forward just a little bit.
They should not be. No. So this
Am
is
I going to have to?
Already abusing authority. He's one of us. One of us.
See what scholarships you make.
Commercials. But yes, Richard High keeps it very light throughout this whole debate.
Okay, here's a serious question. My family's been threatened. We've had crazy people show up threatening us. We had a guy show up to our old property and attack one of our employees. I have no choice but to talk to the police.
Because of the police, correct. So if you had a different kind of...
Well, no, because we want to stop them from doing it.
And did they do that?
The people, they stop?
Yeah. Did
So
the
I'll
cops
put it this
stop
way.
them? Did the cops do the job they claimed they were going to do?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's like C+.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you have a producer on your show... I'm sorry if I'm interrupting your guys' conversation.
Shut the fuck up!
If you have a
Disorderly conduct.
if you have
Got
if you have a producer who's what is wrong with these people? If you have a producer who's not doing their job, you get rid of them. If you have a photographer, if you have a sidekick, co-host, whatever, you get rid of them. It is when you have a monopoly on a service where there's absolutely no accountability. If you watch I don't know how many people here have been burglarized. I hope it's few of you, but some of us have. There's not even if Amazon doesn't deliver a package, you get a refund or store credit. If a store doesn't deliver a product, you get a refund or store credit. It is only a monopoly when there's actually not even a pretense that, yeah, we're here to protect you, but if we didn't, well, tough shit, there's nothing we're not even going to pretend to do something about it. And everyone just kind of takes this as a given because this is the world we grew up in. And my point is, it's not at all acceptable that someone who takes a job onto themselves and who doesn't deliver, you're just like, oh, well, what are you going to do? That's all I'm saying.
Fair point. We did hire private security after this.
You had to.
Yeah.
And you pay a lot in taxes. And if that money was being used correctly, this problem wouldn't, those people would be in the ground.
Yeah, Rich.
And real quick, Rich.
I'm on Michael's side now.
Well, I want to say this, though. As a black man, I get pulled over all the time.
Yeah. Complaints, and they're part of the community. They're
And then they could have a rating. The feeling's not mutual.
A cop. This is a good cop.
And Michael, you're very
Just
intelligent.
fast forward it because I like Alex Stein, but he's a jokester the entire time. So I want to just kind of keep it serious and keep to the debate parts most of the time.
And I respect you, and I'm glad that you dressed up like me. Maybe unintentionally,
The
but the
feeling's not
mustache looks
mutual.
great. But I had to push back on the monopoly thing because there's tons of private enterprises that do private security work, including people that fight against the exploitation of children and work alongside police and do better than police because they're privatized.
Correct.
So, yeah, we don't have a monopoly on protecting the American
You have
citizen.
a monopoly on arrest. You have a monopoly on putting people in jail. And it's always a given that if there's an emergency, there's not a 911 that is like an Uber service for people who have to maybe be qualified, pass certain certifications, and then they could have a rating based.
I'm sorry, there is now. We cover this. It's called Protect. It's in California. They're starting to make them.
Sure.
Uber for security.
That's exactly what should be universal.
And there's police boards that state, or they go over like a police officer's background and their complaints, and they're part of the community. They're part of like a mayoral or a city thing.
So we all know what happens in schools. I know someone who's this mentally handicapped guy who's doing a lot of great work because teachers' unions do a great job of protecting the predators from having any consequences for their behavior.
It's very true.
And do you know why? Because teachers are human beings. And unions will act in a certain way. They will protect their own, and that is their job to protect their own. So when teachers act inappropriately, it takes a lot to get them fired. anyone, and here's the thing. I know that my colleague and I can't lie because cops only tell the truth. Hashtag believe cops. So everything I say, you should double check for yourselves, right? So Google what like police, teachers unions, and sexual abuse, and the results will shock you. Now, the idea that the police unions are going to be any different would only be true if cops aren't human beings. They are human beings, and unions act identically regardless of the field. Their job is to protect their own people from any consequences. And there's story after story. Let's look at the Eric Garner case. How much money would Nancy Pelosi have to give you to put your hands on someone for selling cigarettes? It's insane. And none of those people lost their jobs who had any consequences for it. The only person who went to jail in that situation was the photographer.
Is your mustache coming out of your nose?
Okay. They kind of derails. I don't know why that guy's there. He doesn't really add anything to the debate. But getting to what he was talking about, I was like, yeah, unions are designed to protect union members. That's all they're designed to do. That's all a union does. Union is there to protect and help its members. That's why I keep telling everybody, like, we've talked about this in regards to the Richard High situation regarding the Buffalo Public Schools. The Buffalo Public Schools and their and the teachers and the unions there are there to protect the teachers and the employees of the school that are members of the union. It has nothing to do with protecting children. The union could give two craps about the children. They're there to protect their members. That's the issue here. That's why unions are a bad thing. They could care less about what their people have done. Their job is to protect them. Doesn't matter if they're a criminal or not, or they actually did it. They're there to protect them. They get them lawyers, they get them the finances that they need, and what we talk about all the time, they just move them to the next place. I'm sure the police unions are probably pretty similar. It's like, oh, you had a really bad situation in a town? Well, we're just going to up and move you to the next town. Same thing as teachers do. We're going to move you a few miles down the road, and no one's going to know who you are there. And that's completely true. Said unions are there to protect their members. They're not there to protect anybody else. Sad reality. Let's fast forward this a little bit.
It's so tight. You guys can't see it. It's like right in the hole.
It's rooted in the brainstem.
So I have a question
The
for you.
brainstem's in the back.
So when I said that we had
But you wouldn't know that, right?
we had a crazy guy come to our property, attack one of the residents there. I said I have to call the police. I talked to the police, and you said because the police make me. Who is going to track this person down and identify them and then lock them up if there were no police?
Well, I don't think that person necessarily should be locked up. I think that person should be in the ground, frankly, number one. Number two is I don't really know necessarily what the alternative would be. Hold on.
If only we had somebody to investigate it.
Commercials.
And how? Okay. Well, see, I'm gonna. He's gonna have to use a lot of sarcasm and quote unquote humor because he knows his position's indefensible.
He's
So
funny, though. He's funny, too.
Let me.
I'm not finished. To answer
You are finished. You trashed it, and then you said you don't have an answer to it.
Ooh.
He's a black woman, and he has the right to speak.
Okay.
You talking about me or him?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. In that case, I'm finished.
Okay, but here's the point. You said that guy should have been in the ground.
Yeah.
In this scenario, when someone comes into my property and attacks one of the residents, you would agree that, or is the position then put him down, shoot him?
Yeah. And let's talk about how the cops enable this sort of situation.
So okay.
If
Look, I don't want to gish you up. So address that one, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So if you look at cases like Jordan Neely in New York, if you look at the 2020 riots, this is a great example of this. The cops have no interest or obligation to enforce the law. Every so often, they're just going to say, yeah, you know what, we're not going to do anything about it. And you have absolutely no recourse. In fact, they are far more interested in arresting and persecuting people who are there enforcing the public safety than they are in attacking and harming criminals. Like I said earlier, if someone burglarizes your house, you're going to have no consequences whatsoever. But if that person steals from a CVS or whatever, they're on the streets in 5 minutes and the cops just shrug their shoulders. The cops have a lot of influence with the politicians who give them orders. And you do not hear them saying, wait a minute, You guys are legalizing shoplifting, and this is causing problems in the community because they are just there to follow orders. Now, cops, again, are human beings. They are not sociopaths. They just follow orders from them. And that, I think, is something far worse than not having a sense of right and wrong yourself. It's when you take obedient orders from people who are depraved, like Gavin Newsom, like Nancy Pelosi, and just close your eyes and do whatever they tell you. So regarding your situation, it is crazy to me that the only solution we're put forward is you have to call the government, and the government's not going to do a good job of it. So I'm not going to even deny, for the sake of this debate, that the cops are a necessary evil. But I'm just going to have everyone walk away, I hope tonight, with understanding that nevertheless they are an evil.
But it sounds like your argument is more so because we're forced to pay for it.
Well, it's not that we're forced to pay for it, but B, they're not doing what we're paying for. I have no problem with like food stamps, right? We're forced to pay for it. But if no one's starving, great. And if it's wasteful, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't want to see starving kids. You know what I mean? But if you're going to take money for security, why is there any crime at all?
Yeah, getting to kind of the point that he's talking about is, if there's still a bunch of crime, or there's even more crime than there was before, what's the point of the police? I still believe that their police force has its role to play. But he's not wrong. Is like crimes aren't going down, and like again with the whole like riot situations, like the police stood down, whether they were ordered to stand down or they just stand down. Like I said, which that's kind of his point is, okay, good. Those good police officers followed orders to not intervene in people burning and destroying and attacking, businesses and people during the George Floyd riots. So the police were literally, for the Summer of Love, were not doing their jobs. Now you could argue that they were under manpower. They didn't have the strength to do it, but they allowed to do it. This is what we pay the police to do, is to stop situations like this, and they refused. And in these big, major Democratic cities where all this stuff happens, the police refuse to do their jobs, and that's what he was getting at. Is like they are following the orders of these corrupt government officials that said, just let them riot. Just let them riot. They are allowed to riot. But in the situation like, for instance, like I said, I hate to always bring this one back up, but January 6th, come down with the hammer. We're going to prosecute these people to the fullest extent of the law. That's what he's saying, is like they're corrupt. They'll follow orders from their higher ups, from their people, and then they'll go do these things because, they're not corrupt. They're good cops. They're good cops just following orders. This is why you have to have, as you're saying, you need to have a conscience to be a police officer. If you're just going to be a police officer, oh, who am I going to arrest today? You should probably want to know the reason why you're going to arrest them. Not just, hey, go arrest this person. Okay, I'm off to arrest this person. What did they do? Why are they being arrested? What are the charges? That's what Michael Malice's point is.
Oh man, I've got
and
like
it's a great point. So I'm going to let Richard Hyde talk about it. This is probably the best arguments that he kind of has during this. So
many rebuttals to the thing that you said. I wish I had a notepad. One, why do police officers get unions? Unions are bad. They only protect the person. Because there's bad people that take advantage of complaint systems, so then they complain about police officers that are proactive. Two, if you don't want police officers showing up, how do you want us to be proactive? You don't want us to be proactive, but you want us to show up when a crime happens and solve it. But you don't want us to be proactive to stop the burglary from happening at Tim's house. Second, what was the other one? There was another one.
Shooting the guy dead?
Shooting the guy dead. Well, that's not good. What if he's accidentally trespassing even though you didn't properly label the signs? Now you killed somebody without justification, so we have to make sure that happens. How does that happen? Rules set in place by the government, whether it's local, city, county, etc. Geez, what did he just end on?
I don't know, but Rich, I have a question though.
No. I have to take a point because he did something that's very dangerous, and I want you all to realize what he just did.
I'm a dangerous man.
You are, because you can kill people with no consequences.
That's not true at all.
Okay, cool.
There are some
Hold on.
consequences.
I just dealt with riots from George Floyd.
Okay, that's cool. I'm speaking now. No cop ever does anything bad. Just like if you go to jail, no one's a criminal. Just ask them. But again, he's one of the good ones. It would apply to me. He said
I like Rich.
that I don't want the cops to be proactive. That speaks to motive. Now imagine if I have drugs, it's intention to distribute. If we're talking about manslaughter versus murder, that's talking about motive. He is comfortable getting on a mic in front of everyone and that's being taped and putting words in my mouth. Now imagine a cop has a bad day, you're arrested, he has to testify. he will have no problem saying, I heard him say it. I heard him say he doesn't want us to be proactive. Now it's your word against his, and you've got a jury, half of whom are going to be complete idiots and think the opposite of you. It's 2 against 1. And this happens all the time. I don't care what anyone thinks about me tonight. I care about what you walk away with and realize if you talk to the cop, you just saw he didn't hear everything I said and remember everything I said. I don't blame him. But what happens when he writes that police report? What happens when he testifies against you? You are fucked.
Well, I just want to say this, and Michael makes some good points. And I would say overall cops probably aren't bad, Rich. But my question for you is, when you looked at the pandemic and you saw some, like the mask police, that they're actually using people like yourself to enforce stuff like wearing a mask, like, is there a line that you would draw where you're like, hey, listen, I believe in the First Amendment more than I believe?
Okay. Pause this for a second, because this is actually a pretty good point in the conversation, talking about during the lockdowns, during closing down churches and everything else, about how that's corrupt. But getting to the point that Michael Malice was making right there, it's that, yeah, it's like, without body cams, it is the police word against yours. And the officer is going to take priority. But that's why I think body cams are such a good thing now, is like they can't exactly twist your words anymore. You can pull up the body cam and you're safe from all this. As I said, we all thought that body cams were going to be the worst thing in the world when it first rolled out, but it actually has turned out to be saving more police officers than dooming them. And you can argue the same thing. Like, if a police officer is being corrupt and he has his body cam rolling, guess what? You're safe. That's why I think body cams are kind of the answer to all this. It's like more transparency, the better. We can see exactly what happened in the situation that led up to your arrest or the person's arrest, and they're going to have that body cam footage. It's going to say exactly what's going on.
In my superior telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Or are you just going to follow orders blindly like Michael says? Because a lot of cops did, but a lot of cops were gracious to people like myself that didn't wear a mask. So I guess how much personal responsibility do you get even as an officer?
So I want to say that Michael is right in some aspect of this, right? There are people that follow rules, and those rules are bad, and they shouldn't follow them. However, on the same side, or opposite side of the same coin, there's a thing called police discretion, which I've used before, which says that if I look at something as an individual that happens to be a police officer, and I deem that I don't want to do anything about it, good or bad, we can debate that later, I can choose not to. And I'll give you a personal example of how I did it in the right way, and that's New York State has very strict firearm policies. I had somebody that came from out of state that had a legal permit from out of state, but in New York State didn't recognize that pistol permit. I pull him over. He had marijuana at the time. It was illegal. I pull him out, search the marijuana. He tells me he has a firearm in the car he's carrying legally. He's not in New York State. What do? I unload the firearm, put the firearm in the glove compartment, I put the ammo on his seat, and I say, hey, I'm not one of those New York City cops that doesn't like guns. I'm all about you carrying legally. Go home. If you load it, keep it in your hand, whatchamacallit, the glove compartment. Thank you. And you'd be great on the stand. And take it back to the state that you're from. Make sure you follow all traffic laws.
I'm all for freedom as long as it's legal. What he just admitted to everybody, shamelessly, is that he only enforces the law when he feels like it. There is no.
Oh, come on! He's saying that he uses discretion. I think that's. I think that's a little
I
different.
think Michael doesn't like cops.
No. Let him speak. Let him cook.
Yes, I am going
Let
to
him
speak.
cook.
There's no other product or service where if the person has a good day or bad day, it's what's going to happen as a result of it.
That's not true. That's not true.
You
There's a
go
lot
to
of-
any store and you ask the barista for coffee, they're not going to be like, nah, I'm not going to give you
What
coffee.
about the what is it?
If
The
you go-
Malaysian flight MH370, right? That pilot was having a bad day, and then they all died.
We're talking about America.
No,
Michael.
they got teleported away
Michael, that-
by orbs in the sky.
Yeah.
Michael, the bartenders right there can get in trouble for over-serving, and they can choose not to over-serve you. Isn't that?
Sure. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is,
ignored it.
I am going to ignore it because this is a distraction. Because the bartender doesn't have the problem put you in a cage. Only cops have the discretion, as he pointed out, that at any time they can throw you in the back of their cop car, throw you in a cell, say disorderly conduct. They've got, and the thing is, cops come in pairs. They have to, right? They have to have backup, and that makes sense. So I brought my backup here as well. 1 second.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Commercials drive me crazy.
I hope you brought me a wig.
This is Officer Oinks a lot.
Yeah, oink oink.
I wish you would have called him Babe.
No, Babe's cute and shouldn't be shot.
Wait, that's a boar, not a pig.
Yeah, because inside every cop is a feral pig that is one comment away from putting your head through a wall. What's that, Officer Oinks a lot? Google domestic violence rates in police. Well, you shouldn't trust what this pig has to say, but I would hope everyone at home Googles that. And here's something else about the police. In the same way that obnoxious people who talk too much are drawn to podcasting, as the three of us can attest.
Everyone up here.
And everyone up here. And in the same way that people who want to prey on children go to where the children are, violent people are going to be drawn to jobs where they're able to use violence without impunity. It's a small percentage, let me be clear, but cops are human beings, and human beings act in certain ways. So if I'm someone who's a sociopath, I'm going to be a politician. If I'm a loudmouth asshole, I'm going to be a podcaster. And if I'm someone who likes to take out his violence on other people legally, I'm going to end up as a cop.
Well, actually, I have a
I take
question.
that personally, Mike.
Wait, no, I want to ask this question, though. Michael, would you think it would be better if we used AI robots as cops?
Better in what way?
Like, do you think that that would help protect citizens more if these were AI robots doing this?
I depend on who would program the AI.
Did you
don't
see
think?
Elysium? They were very mean in that.
That's what I'm saying. That movie, the AI cops are dickheads.
You're not even allowed to do sarcastic robot voice.
They didn't even use discretion.
I can't
Yeah,
speak to that.
see?
I can't
So,
speak to that.
I don't
They
know.
broke
I'm-
that dude's arm for no reason.
That
So-
never happens in real life.
Michael, I have a question.
I don't answer questions from police.
Love that you said that.
That's good. That's good.
Don't ever do it. I'm not. Here's why. There's two people in America who think words are violence: social justice warriors and cops. If I call Alex the N-word, which I do all the time, and I will again,
I didn't hear it, but I wish I
There's-
See our
did.
text
There's-
messages. They're
there's-
bad.
there's plenty of leftists who will tell you that it's appropriate for him to beat me in a coma because, hey, you shouldn't be calling black people the N-word. Cops are the only other group where if you say the wrong thing, they feel entitled to knock you into a coma and pat themselves on the back for it.
Anyway, so you said that because the job requires violence, or there's like a level of violence that has to be.
I didn't say that.
What did you say? Is it something that cops
I
draw
don't-
people because it
you
is a
should
job of
listen to what I'm
violence?
saying before you try to quote me. If
That's
you're a
why I
police
asked you.
officer. I'm not answering questions from the
Well,
police.
you're not very good at debating.
I'm not debating you.
This is a debate, isn't it?
What about a conversation? Can we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we?
He's trying to
be
love
friends?
Michael to
Yeah.
trick him into being
Those
friends with him.
acapella.
Here's how cops operate, and he's using another technique.
They're singing and being nice.
They come to interview you. Hey, my partner's crazy. My partner's a madman. I'm the nice one. I'm just trying to help you.
Alex is crazy.
Just answer a few questions.
Good
I'll be
cop,
on my
bad
way.
cop.
It'll be cool. You answer the few questions. If I go to Tim, I go, hey, Tim, I got to put up a painting in my house. Can I borrow a power tool? Sure. And then I go, oh, by the way, Tim, this power tool, I can and will use this against you. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, hey. They tell you explicitly, anything you say can and will be used against you. And here's something else. If you tell a cop something that would help your side of the story in a lawsuit, in a criminal case, that's hearsay. Oh, he said, but if he doesn't remember something you said or gets it a little wrong, like he did repeatedly today, all of a sudden it's his word against yours, and now your story doesn't add up, and now you're a liar. And now, very quickly, bad things are going to happen to you as a consequence.
Well, actually, I
don't
wanna-
ever talk to the police without an attorney.
Michael has a good point. And I want you to answer this, though, Rich, because you know you deal with these interrogations and people you interviews, whatever.
Soft
interviews.
words, kind
And you
hands.
give them their Miranda rights, and you know that most people you deal with are retarded, and they don't even understand their Miranda rights.
Wow, I'm just like you. Yes.
Yeah, I admit that I am retarded. My point is, you're dealing with people that don't realize that they are incriminating themselves. Michael does have a point in that they actually are afforded a free attorney. And oftentimes I watch the first 48, and you see the dude in there that, double murdered somebody. A couple times you're like, hey, where's my attorney? Where's my attorney? And then the guy will end up still talking because they give him like a Pepsi Coke, And
Delicious.
what I'm saying is,
You know what brought the world together? Caitlyn Jenner did it.
she did.
Notice how
That-
he's changing the subject.
that ended
Still talking about
racism. But what I'm talking about, you know that they don't even understand that they would get a free attorney that would tell them to shut the fuck up. and you still ask them questions. So do you ever feel a little guilty because you are taking advantage of somebody that doesn't realize the situation?
Just because you're dumb doesn't mean that you don't understand the words that I literally read for you. From
That's what dumb means, not understanding things.
But real quick though, you understand that it is a challenging thing. You give them the Miranda rights one time.
Sure.
They might not understand the concept that they get a free attorney.
Well, that's why I asked them, do you understand these rights that I've just read to you? And
I
they have to
understand that
respond.
you asked that question, but I'm
and then
saying-
follow-up question, I have to ask, knowing these rights in mind, having these rights in mind, would you like to talk to me now? I have the card.
I know
He's got
that.
Hold on, just in case we all forgot.
But you know that you are asking questions to a person. It doesn't even matter if you sat there for 10 minutes and lectured them on what legal rights they had. They still would not understand what it is because some people have a 70 IQ. Do you ever feel guilty for them basically not taking advantage of their legal rights, like a free attorney?
So the amount of people that I've questioned that I've read their Miranda rights to, which start off with, you have the right to remain silent. If you don't understand that, or if you but there's a difference here. Everybody's talking about, like, are you smart enough to understand it? If I say you have the right to remain silent, and then I continue to question you, and you say, okay, I would like to be questioned.
August the 16th, Guts Church is
There's no much more I can do. I'm not a psychologist. If lawyers want to then take up that aspect of saying, hey, Alex is so dumb. How dumb is Alex? Alex doesn't know when to shut up. And then they can argue that. But unless you're of noticeable mental decline, I'm going to read you your Miranda rights. I'm going to ask you at the end of them, do you understand each of these rights I have explained to you? Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now? And you say yes, then I'm going to talk to you.
Well, how about this?
No. I got one thing. Notice he's not even pretending that he's going to help the person. I'm not a psychologist. We've all talked to people.
Who am I helping?
We've all talked to people. No one. That's the point.
The victim?
We've all talked to people.
Maybe the victim.
Someone who's innocent until proven guilty. He's someone he's questioning. We've all talked to people. You explain something to them, you realize, okay, this person has no idea what the fuck I'm just talking about. And that's happened to him repeatedly. But he knows, as long as he's got the assent, just like when you check up the terms of service on some website or thing, his hands are clean, and he can go and pursue the arrest and the conviction.
So you finish that the Miranda rights with, do you want to talk to me, yes or no?
Correct.
Whether the person answers yes or no indicates, we're getting feedback, indicates some understanding. And it sounds like what you're asking, Alex, do you ever feel guilty because maybe they actually don't? What if the person wants to talk to the cops and they accidentally say no because they don't understand it? They can misunderstand
It never works that way, Tim. It never happens where they accidentally ask for an attorney and get one.
No, I'm saying the cops are like, do you want to talk to us? The guy might be thinking, I understand what you're saying. My point is logically it can go either direction.
But logically, it goes in one direction.
Oh, shit.
Get away from it with your metal teeth, guy.
I don't know. I do have.
But before we go to the audience, I do want to ask Michael.
I was going to respond.
If there were no
Let's
police,
respond. That's a good question.
okay.
So, if you feel like police officers taking advantage of people that don't understand their rights or don't understand the conversation that they've been in, I would ask you to bring me with some sort of story. Just bring something up where you were having a conversation with somebody who felt as though they could not talk to you or didn't understand the conversation, and then you continue to have a conversation with them.
I'm saying the inverse. My argument is more for what Alex is saying. Alex is saying there are some people who don't understand, and they'll talk to you anyway. My argument is the statement of, do you want to talk to me, can go yes or no.
Correct.
Misunderstand in either direction. Meaning, I understand the point. It's probably rare, and maybe it's a stupid point. I don't know. But there may be some people who want to explain to the police something that happened. It may slightly be incriminating, but they're worried about having their kneecaps bashed in by gangs. And they're like, I don't understand what this means, so I'm not going to say anything.
If you want to what if every legal thing, I'm with you, but I would need something for me to
I don't follow
bounce
the
off
question
of.
either.
What's that?
I didn't follow the question either.
Okay.
My
Friends!
Now we're finally friends.
Don't touch me. That's assault.
Not
consensual, okay.
so I'm not doing anything.
Let me just ask you, Michael.
Notice,
Before we
I'm
do
not
this,
even kidding at all.
But before
I'm not. No. I'm going to say this point. Notice how comfortable a cop is getting in your face. And my point earlier is, I'm
It
not
was to
joking.
your backside, sir.
I'm not joking. You can laugh. You should laugh right now because that's obviously humorous. Now imagine what happens when there's no cameras and there's no witnesses and he's in a bad mood. all of a sudden he's going to be very happy to remind you who your place in life and who you should be talking to with the polite mouth boy.
So before we go to the audience, I do want to ask, what would we have if there were no police?
Well, we need security. So this idea
Like security, like the people that try to get me to stop skating some ledge at the front of a building and they're fucking dickheads.
Yeah, they suck.
yeah, specifically those people.
Only them.
We want to clone them. Great contribution. Security is an extremely important thing. These movements that you see in these big cities to defund the police are, to me, insane because they're defunding them to a point, but they're keeping them in place to make sure people can't protect themselves. So you have the police taking out Kyle Rittenhouse, you have them taking out Daniel Penny, but everybody else is rendered helpless and defenseless. So security is far too important of a job to be left to monopoly, let alone a government monopoly. We need police accountability and we need private security to increase. But as it is now, there is no accountability, and the people who are if you're in New York, one of the reasons I moved to Austin, thank God I did, is because I knew if someone broke into my house, and I have pretty cool shit, and I tried to defend myself, especially with a firearm, it's far more likely that the law would fall upon me than upon the guy breaking into my house. We see this over and over. And those laws are enforced and only enforced by the police.
So,
Fuck, no. Come on. No. Those laws are enforced by the district attorney's office and the politicians that you elect. It's not my fault that you
Oh my
decided to
God.
live in a shitty city with bad rules
Sure.
that I choose to ignore
Sure.
because I believe in the Second Amendment.
Okay, cool
You
story.
chose to live in a state that says, here are the guidelines, and then you go, it's the cops' fault that they put handcuffs on me. Not at all for the fact that there's a judge, a jury, a district attorney, a state senator, and a governor that are all against you, not the cops.
Okay.
Just because we collect you doesn't mean we're responsible for the end result.
So if I hire Tim to kill Alex, which one of us has committed a crime?
Both of you.
Right. Thank you. So just because an evil person tells you to do something and you follow their orders, you're both committing wrongdoing. And I want to ask the people in this audience, how many people here lost a loved one during COVID? Anyone? No.
Me?
Okay. How many people couldn't visit their old folks during COVID?
how many people couldn't go to church during COVID?
Right.
There we go.
No.
How much money would Joe Biden have to pay you to arrest someone for trying to go to church?
Fuck Joe Biden.
He re-
Agreed.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, well, let's.
How much
wait,
money? No. How much money would Officer Kamala Harris have to pay you to arrest someone for having a funeral?
Fuck Kamala Harris. All right.
Thank you.
But
Wait, no. I'm going to finish my point. We've all said earlier that cops are human beings, but in one capacity they're not. Because what separates humans from non-human animals is our conscience. And when you become a cop, you give yours away. You say, I am going to do what the sociopaths tell me. And if they tell me to shut down that lemonade stand and make that little girl cry, I'm not going to lose an ounce of sleep over it.
one quick question for Rich before we go to the audience. The police officer.
Now, I completely agree with that. But the only difference is Michael Malice is an anarchist. Like, I don't know. He has said that he said he believes in security. But what I believe is, without a police force, I believe that all you're going to have is communities of gangs. And that's all it's going to be. It's like they're going to be community police forces that are essentially gangs. And someone is going to do something wrong to somebody in one community, and then they're going to send their guys after somebody, and then the other community that has the same type of police force or, security is going to do the same thing, and they're going to protect them. It's like, you're not taking our guy. We don't care what they did to you. You're not taking our guy. And it's gangs. Essentially, all you've done is taken away police and replaced it with community gangs that are going to enforce their own rules. They said, well, our guy, whatever our guy did to your people, we don't care. We're going to protect our guy. Now, maybe you would hope that it was a decent community. If they actually did something wrong, they would turn that person over. But that's probably not the case, because if that guy's a paying taxpayer to whatever the security detail is in your community, they're like, nope, we're paid to protect this guy. It's a union. So I said it's a gang. It's like, hey, we're protecting our guy. This guy pays my bills. We're keeping him safe. I don't care what he did to y'all. That's what I think will happen if we get rid of a police force. That's why I'm not on Michael Malice's side, but I think Michael Malice makes great points in this. But again, he has no solution. And what do you call someone who complains about something that has no solution? You call him a whiner. And that's pretty much all his debate is, like I said. But he makes great points, and it's true. It's like a person, like with that whole thing right there, he's like, if Tim pays you to kill Alex, so if Tim Pool pays you to kill Alex Stein, who's committed a crime? And he says, both of you have. And that's exactly his point. He's like, so if your corrupt governor or mayor or whatever tells you as a police officer to go arrest somebody or go to, break up a protest or whatever the big thing is who's committed the crime. It's like, they both have. Because if they're not doing anything wrong, or they haven't done anything wrong to their knowledge, but the mayor or governor or whatever tells the police to go arrest this person, you are a bad police officer by proxy because you didn't stop and go, well, what did this guy do exactly? Or is this just like a personal vendetta of the mayor or the governor or whatever? We don't know. Again, it's the same thing with the COVID thing. Like, that's why COVID is like the best representation of all this. Is like, you go out to the beach, you're going to get arrested for going to the beach during COVID because they made up a new rule. It's like, we're making up a new edict or, statement that says you're not allowed to do this. Like, why? What law are you breaking by going to the beach? It's just people using their power. That was only mayors, governors, and whatever else other lawmakers flexing their power, saying, look what we can do. Look what we can say to you. You can't go to the beach. You can't go to work. You can't go visit your loved ones in the hospital. You are the bad person. And he's not wrong. And the police enforce this stuff. We forget. It's like there were police officers that enforced this. There were police officers that went to churches, that closed down churches. There were police officers that went to beaches, that went to national parks, whatever, that found people there. They're like, get out of here. Leave. You are not allowed to be here. Not because they broke the law, but because COVID's happening. So COVID was the big eye-opener for a lot of people.
Officers who unconstitutionally shut down churches in New York, should they be arrested for that?
They should be charged.
All right. Here. Constitutional
That's a good question.
conspiracy
All
against
right,
rights.
let's get into the show, Tim. You ready for this?
Let's go.
Are you guys ready for this? Let's get the energy going. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to call out a name. You guys walk your ass and hurry your ass because we got to have a hard out at 5 p.m.
we're
And remember to
going
tip your
to
damn waitress.
fast
DC's
forward it
expensive.
a
Or waiter, whatever.
Bridge that gap. If nobody respects you, then every time you show up, they're gonna disrespect you, get in a fight with you, push the boundaries until they're resisting or obstructing, and then you have to effect an arrest. And so there is an image, like my fantastic partner has to show, that police officers should have because they are part of this larger authority of the community. Does that make sense?
So notice how easily he lied about my views and put words in my mouth. He said, I don't want cops to be big, burly guys. I said that the police, that's not what I said. I said the police as a career attracts violent people, and it's a small percentage. I said those words or words to that effect. At no point did I say it's preferable for the police to be small people. And again, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about any of us on this panel. What I care about is when you talk to the police, they will easily twist your words without any guilt whatsoever or any kind of consequences or apology, and you're the one who will be ending up paying the price.
Man, I disagree.
That's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
No, let Jason. Well, Jason, what do you got for us? What do you think?
I look like an asshole. I look like a criminal. Usually, when I talk to him, like, and I'm calm and I'm not like doing right.
But you see,
Fucking jerk off.
first of all, you're one data point, and you're absolutely correct.
How dare you be that data point and not a person? Good call, cop.
Okay.
Imagine being able to build a
Commercials driving me crazy, man.
Point being, every field, you're absolutely correct, have people who are assholes, beauty queens, politicians, teachers, barbers, everything, anyone count out. It is only the police, when someone is an asshole, that they have the legal right and discretion to, if you're giving them an attitude, throw you in the back of their cop car and fuck your shit up for a very long time. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's clarify that. They actually don't, but the argument is they have connections and
What do you mean? They can get you for resisting. They can get you for disorderly conduct.
Right. My point is, to the letter of the law, they can't legally do that. You're saying they have to lie and break the law to get away with it.
A lot of those things are in the opinion of the officer. And he will testify.
Let me try this. Can you, for any reason, because you're angry, make up charges
No,
against
you got to
somebody?
make up a charge, yeah.
Can you make up charges against somebody?
No.
That never happens?
But cops do lie.
Okay.
Cops lie.
And that's illegal to falsely
and
charge
it is
somebody.
illegal to lie, and there are repercussions for those people that do it.
But the argument, Michael, is that you're saying they get away with it, which I don't disagree with.
Yes. Here's
Not that
something
they have a
else.
legal right to do it.
Assume everything I'm saying is not true. What I would encourage people to do, as I've done, is watch a lot of police body cam footage.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
and-
agree with that.
And I'm not
channel's
finished.
great.
It's going to make you appreciate what the cops have to do a lot more. Because if you're calling the cops, you're not calling the cops because things are nice. It's not like, oh, hey, officer, we're having a birthday party. Would you like a piece of cake, please? Right? Here's the thing. If your day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, is dealing with shitty people doing shitty stuff, it does a number on you. Because what? Cops are what? Human beings. I had a friend, Jim Moore. He was a sheriff in rural Illinois. Great guy. And part of his gig before he was a sheriff was investigating child abuse.
Oh, me too.
I never asked him for details because I didn't want to know. I don't think anyone in this room wants to know. The kinds of things people do to their own kids, let alone foster kids, is unimaginable. And after a while, he quit. And do you know why he quit? Because it got to him. How could it not get to you? You do that kind of stuff inside and out, you're going to look at people in a whole different way. And that's what happens. It's not even their fault. You show up like this young guy on the force, and you're trying to help your community. After a while, people yell at you. You see these police body cam where someone's like literally a shooter. The cops try to take him down, and he's swarmed in the ghetto, and they feel very unsafe, and you don't blame them for feeling very unsafe. My point is, after a while, this hardens you, right? And if you have that interaction with that hardened cop who's having a bad day, you're the one who's going to be paying the price for it, and it's not even his fault.
Let me ask you this, Rich. I think it might have been Donut Operator who told the story. I could be wrong, where they had just gotten a call about a child that was killed in a car accident, a baby.
That was Cody, yeah.
And then after that, he has to go deal with some angry woman who's bitching at him.
A Karen.
And they don't understand what he just witnessed and experienced.
Right.
And it's like torturous.
It's difficult. Yeah, they're like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the job comes with risks that are involved. It doesn't mean that you deserve those risks, but it means that there's risks that are involved. I currently get mental health from a psychiatrist because I need it. Because I'm an SVU detective, so I deal with crimes against children, domestic abuse, sexual assault,
No
et cetera.
human can handle it on their own.
Correct.
It's not possible.
They need help. And, yeah, it is difficult. But at the same time, I haven't had the spillover that other police officers have, so it's hard for me to connect with that.
Would you know it if you had?
What's that?
Would you know it if you had?
Yes, because you know what? You're right. I did have spillover. And I had good officers that were next to me that pulled me aside and said, you need to sit down. You need to cool off. And there are laws right now in New York State, I forget what law it's called, where it is an officer's duty to intervene if another officer is doing excessive force in their eyes.
Yeah, but there's also a duty in the military if people have to do that. Then you have the My Lai massacre.
Yeah,
so
okay.
just because something's on paper, and I'm sure that happens sometimes. I'm sure there's a lot of times because you trust your partner, people trust their partners. You see your partner being out of it's like, oh, and you're like, oh shit, thanks for checking me. Like, and that person will be grateful. But there's plenty of other times when you and your partner, it's you two against the world, and someone who's from a certain socioeconomic class is giving you lip, and you're not having it that day. And I don't know that I would do differently in that position. I'm not pretending otherwise.
Let's get some more people.
All right,
up
let's
here.
get some more people.
Now, completely agree with that. Like I said, this is the issue. Is like police. The best I ever heard it put. I forget who did it. I wish I could find that video, and I wish I had put it on here. But they said, I think it was Mike Rowe, actually. Like guy from Dirty Jobs. He's like, when you call the police, it's because you don't want to deal with a problem. The police come to a problem that you don't want to deal with yourself, and that's true. It's like a problem that you either can't handle or you don't want to handle. And you're telling somebody else, hey, I need you to come handle this problem for me. It's call dad. That's literally what I call it. It's the call dad situation. That's what the police are in this situation. It's like they are going to go deal with a very bad problem. It can be anything from, like they just said, domestic violence, just a civil dispute, to murder, homicide, assault, sexual assault, and they're dealing with this problem. Like I said, just like like I just said with donut operator right there, was dealing with a dead baby. You don't understand? He literally just got a call for a dead baby, and now he's going to go handle some lady that's mad at a cashier at a store that she's at. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, what I just had to deal with just a few minutes ago is way more important on the scale of things than this lady's mad because her bag that she wanted was not the price that she was at, or whatever it is, whatever stupid reason that they're being called or dispatched. And like that's the other thing too. It's like that's the other reason why like certain like like Michael Malice talked about earlier. It's like your house gets broken into, it's not the top of the priority list on the police things. Like, oh, if we'll get to it when we get to it. Whereas, a homicide is extremely at the top of the priority list. It's like, yeah, it's like in the grand scheme of things that the cops are having to deal with, your home, something in your home being stolen is like the bottom tier of the list compared to, oh, we're actually looking for a murderer right now, but I'm not going to tell you that, sir. So, but they still have to get dispatched to do these things. And, that's the issue. Is like I said, there's a priority list of crimes and what they're looking for and what the cop is doing for the day. And yeah, your issue, why it's important to you, it is like the bottom tier of the list of what they're actually dealing with that day. So these are things that, that we don't talk about. So I'm going to move on to the next kind of jump here about an hour or so in, because like I said, there's the questions I don't think were really that great from the audience. There was like a couple of good audience questions, but for most of it, like it was not the best. So I'm going to skip on to about an hour in is where I was the last time I think I saw something. There we go.
Zaxby's just dropped.
Commercials. Killing me. I might actually just invest in YouTube Premium.
How are police a necessary evil as they enforce our freedom and they help us keep our freedom?
Wait, I don't understand the question.
Why are police a necessary evil?
I was saying for the sake of this debate, I'll say the police are necessary evil because people are of the belief, and I'm not going to argue against that today, that but for the police, we would have like 2020 with 24/7.
So you're avoiding my question?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't understand the question, to be honest. Which part? Wait, what part are you confused about? The necessary part or the evil part?
A necessary evil. I think they're necessary, and I don't think they're doing anything that goes against what Americans do believe in.
Okay. A lot of Americans believe in stupid things. A lot of Americans thought that if you stand
Right.
6 feet apart, you can't catch a disease, which makes absolutely no sense, right? A lot of Americans, 48% of them, thought Officer Harris would be a great president. I strongly disagree, and half of those people would be on your jury if you were facing one. So keep that in mind if you're going to fight a charge.
Mike,
Sure.
real quick,
Okay, so-
98% on your jury in D.C.
Well, sure, in D.C., right? Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going
okay.
to prison.
Yeah, you're going to prison. As to why they're an evil, the point is, if someone is a sociopath, as I think all politicians are, and you take it as your job, I'm not a sociopath, I'm just going to do whatever they tell me to do, that's not the actions of a moral person. That's the actions of someone who's handed over their conscience to people who they know are evil, or may not know are evil human beings.
Well, I think police officers take the job because they think they're doing something to help people.
That's true. I think a lot of them, but just, you know what? Here's another example, the military. A lot of people, and probably some in this room, join the military because they think, okay, I want to protect my country. I want to, help my community. I want to keep America free and safe. And that's very commendable. And then many people in the military are like, what the fuck am I doing here? I was completely lied to. But the thing is, you can't quit the military because you're going to get court-martialed, possibly go to jail, but you can quit the police force at any time. And how many of them walked during COVID? Very, very few. They were more than happy to tell you, fuck you, you're not going to be able to say goodbye to your loved ones because I need my paycheck.
All right, thank you, Madeline. Now our next person, give it up for Madeline, everybody. Now our next guy, I like this already, Joey Cannoli. Joey
Yeah! The
Come
worst
on down.
dessert. More than happy to enforce it.
Yeah, of
They have
course.
no respect for any of the amendmends, including the first or the second, because
Cannoli. Joey, what do you got for us, Joey?
I'm just thinking about like how it's wild how we need like to come up with these big laundry lists of things to arrest some politicians or corporate leaders on because they constantly break the law all the
But-
fucking time.
but
and-
here's why it's not the cop's fault necessarily.
Oh, I don't care about
because
the cops.
Stop the fucking presses.
Yep. If the politicians passed a law to stop the presses, the cops would be more than happy to enforce
Yeah,
it.
of
They have
course.
no respect for any amendments, including the first or the second,
well,
because the First Amendment also included the right to peaceably assemble, and that was never enforced during COVID.
I got to stop you there, Michael, because you're wrong. The police had no problem during COVID enforcing things that weren't even laws.
Oh, that's correct. Sure. In fact, you and I got into an argument on your show because I was calling something a law. You're like, "Shut up! No, it's not a law. It's a, what was it, like an edict?"
Which one? I don't know. Probably.
Governor from New York, she had some kind of Kathy Hochul. She had some
Hochul.
kind of ruling,
Right.
And you're like, "It's not a law. Stop calling it a law."
Fucking
It was
right.
not even level of a law.
She just decreed.
Decreed. Yeah.
Decree.
Yeah.
And the cops were like, "You got it."
So the point I was making with Joey's
got it,
point
boss.
is, wealthy people will always have better access to justice because they're going to have better lawyers. And there's nothing you can do around it unless you go full communist and just have everyone have a shitty
Oh,
lawyer.
bro, it gets better than that. They don't even need the lawyers.
That's true,
Sometimes
too. Yeah.
when the prosecutors find out they're going up against a guy with millions of dollars, they say, "Are we going to be able to win this?
Yeah.
Why are we going to waste the resources?"
So that's like part of the problem is that like there's no enforcement wing against people who have a lot of assets and wealth. There's almost nothing.
Unless it's a public spectacle.
Yes, unless it's something they can like actually, like if, for example, Donald Trump, like they would obviously he's trying to go at the system, so of course they're gonna try to do all they can.
What if,
but-
real quick, what if we just got rid of the rich people and took all their stuff and distributed it evenly among everybody?
Well, no, he has a good point though. well, I want to say my very good friend Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. We love him, but he got famous after he went to prison. If he would have gotten famous before and he had the money to actually fight in his case with a good criminal defense attorney, his outcome would have been totally different.
And he almost got pardoned by Trump.
Oh, come on. He needs to get pardoned. Trump pardoned Joe Exotic. You let Kodak Black out.
Hold on. But he didn't get pardoned because he had money. He got pardoned because he was in the public specter. That's different than money.
Oh, they're gonna say
Were you
black.
talking about Kodak Black?
It's so, but this is
no,
a good
Joe
point.
Exotic hasn't been pardoned. We need him to get pardoned.
This is a good point you bring up, though, Rich. Currency isn't just cash. There's
right.
social
Get out of
currency
here,
as
Joey.
well.
Thank you, guys. Give it up for Joey.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
One of the cultural issues that I think is a big problem is people who have large followings get what they want from corporations, from governments, because they can create fear of public pressure.
All right, so
That's
to
true.
kind of go against what he was saying, where he's like, everybody that's got a bunch of money gets arrested, but they get away with it. A lot of people with no money get arrested and get away with it.
It's true.
If you go to New York State, specifically the city of Buffalo, the one that I police, the amount of people that get picked up with illegal firearms, not to say that they're carrying concealed in a legal manner. I'm saying like people that do it in like for
Thing. In my experience, what actually happened to me is they just said, quite literally, "I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm going to say whatever I want."
Oh, sure. Okay.
Like the idea they're going to go, "Aha, I finally caught
Oh,
you."
they're not going to admit it. Of
No,
course
but I mean, like, they don't need an excuse.
I agree.
I'm trying to
They're just
find
gonna
the
say, "Bro, I'm
one
gonna
little point
accuse you
because
of
I fell
stealing
asleep
the
watching
composition."
this last
Yeah.
night where
What do you got,
Tim Pool
the gay
and
couple
Michael
say something.
Malice
Oh,
actually
God.
tried to get into it at one
God, I
point.
have a question. Okay, Michael, you're a capitalist, correct?
No.
He's an anarchist.
I'm
Okay, an anarcho-capitalist.
So no, I'm not an anarcho-capitalist. So this is really that's not correct.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pigeonhole you.
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm asking a legitimate
And I
question.
answered two of those questions.
And you said
now-
no.
And now we're done.
Okay.
He's an anarcho-centrist.
Would you?
I do not think capitalism is a defensible term.
Do you think that a free market is positive?
Yes.
Would you prefer a free market over anything else?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Okay, well, I'll give you a scenario.
No.
If
I'm not speaking. I'm not answering questions from a cop.
if you're a person that has, if you're a person of sound mind and sound body, and you choose to make a business decision with all the information in front of you, how is that a bad thing? Because if I'm a police officer saying, here are your rights and here's all the information in front of you, is that not capitalism? Is that not giving you all the information that's necessary and available
I already
in
told
order
you
for
enough
you to
of-
make a
I
choice
literally-
and then you choose it?
So I literally told you I find capitalism an indefensible term, and now you're proceeding as if I'm for capitalism.
I didn't. I just asked you a question. I didn't say that that's how you thought. I said,
Is that an example of capitalism? Sure. I don't know.
All right, next victim, Rolf Hendricks. Is Rolf Hendricks here? Rolf, come on down, Rolf.
It was black and come on, don't put words in my mouth, officer. Point being, yes, there are things that are worse than the police. Like I said, cops are human beings. They're not the worst thing ever. Certainly, like gangs, which can roam around with impunity, are much worse than the police. But the police are just a different type of gang. They're a gang you approve of.
So let me ask you this from the audience member's question.
No, I think this is it. I'm pretty sure this is where he actually gets into it with him.
degree of violence or crime, or what in society would make you say, you know what, I want a police force out in full force?
I want a lot more security. I think our system is a very poor way of getting there.
So
That's all I'm saying.
Is the question, you think there is, an honest question, there is no circumstance where you would want the police?
There are many cases I would want the police because the police are creating a situation where they're the only answer. For example, if you kidnap me and you give me food, yeah, I want your food.
I understand. The question is there a circumstance where you would agree, you know what, because something has happened, I want the government to institute a police department. Let's say there's no police at all. Could something happen where you say we should establish a police force? Like a monopolistic government?
Sure, like if there's some kind of like war, like we're just leaving war, like Germany's bombed out at the end of World War II, right? People are stealing food, there's no whatever. If in that emergency situation, like, all right, we're going to have a mandated some kind of insane security system, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Well, that would be martial law, wouldn't it? We already have that. If you couldn't place it, you would place martial law.
All right, sit your ass down. Next person.
Nope, that
Denzel
wasn't
Wright.
either.
Is Denzel Wright here? Come on down, Denzel. I like this. Very urban sounding name.
Denzel, when you grab the mic, you need to do.
Is that yes? Like each local jurisdiction
What do you mean
will...
by we?
Let me ask you this question. Should we have a privatized immigration enforcement system?
It would be more effective, don't you think?
So, but is that yes? Like each local jurisdiction
What do you mean
will...
by we?
Should the people who live in various communities upon themselves create private enterprise that would be supported by individuals who would subscribe to that service to go to businesses and go to homes and take people who are here illegally and deport them?
No, I don't think it should be done in a community because that's not going to be effective, right? Because if my
They're private businesses.
but my point is if it's
and
like,
then people have to pay for it.
right, but my point is if they're just looking at Austin and I know that they're going to be bad in Austin as an illegal immigrant, I'm just going to go to San Antonio or somewhere else. So unless it's some kind of federal border thing, it's really going to have an insane amount of loopholes.
So should the people then, should there be some federal jurisdiction, like
There has to
federal,
be. There has to be.
federal private companies that do immigration enforcement? Who pays for it? Like who's the customer?
If you're going to have a national government, you're going to have some taxation to find.
In your view, with no police, and we want to enforce immigration.
No. In my view, there's just no government police. There's still private
Yes,
police.
agreed,
Right? Okay,
agreed.
yeah.
So in this system of private police,
But the thing is, in my view, there's no birthright citizenship. Everything's private. A lot of these issues are kind of fall by the wayside because you could hire and fire whoever you want, and
even if they just walked across the border, then
right.
So there'd be tons of people who weren't from here just coming here without any laws. Or
But
anything.
also, there'll be tons of people who aren't getting free welfare. They're not getting free schooling. They're not getting driver's licenses. They're not getting all these other things. So the number of people who come here, the problems with the immigrants isn't necessarily like the stereotypical guy who's like outside Home Depot wants a job.
So
it's the people who are just here to be on the dole and then to raise their kids to vote Democrat.
So in this system where currently polling shows that most people, and this is across the board, even CNN finds this, want illegal immigrants deported.
Sure, and I'm not against that.
Who is the customer base to hire a private immigration company?
So I don't know that would work in a private mechanism. Because,
So then how
hold
does-
on, let me finish. Because there's not any individual who's the victim, right?
Agreed.
So if if you get killed and you have like a private security, they're going to track down your killer. But this is something that's a societal issue, so it has to be handled societally.
So if you have a system where law enforcement is privatized, everybody, or I should say in the majority of the country, most people are like, we all agree these people shouldn't be here. Unfortunately, there's no mechanism by which the market...
I don't think I'm going to disagree with you slightly. There's something called revealed preferences, right? So people might say, I'm for this issue, but as soon as they see that footage on TV, all of a sudden they're against it. So people speak out of both minds on many issues. So ostensibly, people are against deporting illegal immigrants, but when they see that grandma on TV, all of a sudden, no.
Okay, so in this hypothetical scenario
Yes.
where everybody agrees people who enter here illegally or in violation of the will of the market and the community, we want them removed, it doesn't sound like you can do it.
Well, it's also that there wouldn't really be a problem.
It doesn't matter if there's a problem. It matters that we're all here right now and we're like, hey, we got to throw this guy out, but no one can do it. This guy's here
I
heckling.
didn't say no one could do it.
How? If
Right
if-
now,
who
if you-
could either.
Who's the
Anyone.
customer? Who pays for it?
Wait, if you want to get somebody out of this place, anyone can do it.
So in this system, then it would just be incumbent upon the citizenry to be like, we're going to go out and we're going to grab people and remove them.
But I don't think there'll be that many people to remove.
That's not the argument. That's not the question.
Can I finish?
No, because you're
Real quick,
changing.
Amber
you're changing.
Duke, come
hold
on down,
hold
Amber
on.
Duke.
The question I have is, right now, the perception is illegal
This is
immigrants shouldn't be here. If
That's
it was
not the perception.
a hypothetical scenario where
Oh
people
my
don't
God,
want
can you arrest
illegal
him?
immigrants here, How do you enforce it if there's no customer base? There can be no private solution in that regard.
What
They
about
took our
Batman?
jobs.
A bunch of vigilantes.
There's different kinds of illegal immigrants. So these kind of questions conflate different things, right? So it does matter because people are certainly willing to put resources to someone who's a member of a gang, but they might ostensibly before get rid of that grandma.
So
But
in-
you have to let me finish.
I've asked you a very specific question. You will not answer.
Correct, I won't.
You won't. So I guess
won't.
I win the debate.
You win the debate.
There we
Tim
go.
wins the
Okay, how
debate.
great.
Give it up for Tim Pool. All right, guys. Frequent Timcast guest, the one, the only Amber.
Yeah, but that's really about it on this. Like I said, it's if you want to watch the full thing, it's great. We pretty much almost did, but yeah, it's like Michael Malice comes to the thing of like private security is a good thing. Like, but that's the thing. If there's a criminal that does something wrong, so what I just talked about is like, and you pay somebody to protect you from the people coming after you. You know, you're committing a crime again. Like, so yeah, we're gonna. This community's not gonna give up the guy that pays us and pays our salary for the guys that other people sent to come get you. That's the issue. Is like all you've done is you've turned it into a bunch of community gangs. Essentially, that's the point. And you know, this is the situations that will come from the type of anarchist like society that he's trying to go for, and that's the big issue that I have with Michael. That's why I believe that we still have a use of a police force. He makes a lot of good points. Like I said, the police do have a monopoly over locking people up, putting them in jail, and if they don't have body cams, yeah, like, and the police words comes against yours, yeah, you're in big trouble. But that's why I'm all about body cams right now. Said that's more transparency. That is complete transparency against the police, is their body cams. And like, you know, if it turns out that their body cam's not working for a particular case, you know, we can throw that court case out, I guess, because, you know, I don't know. But it was a really good debate. Like I said, Michael Malice did come in hot. He was clearly heated in this. But that's pretty much all I've got for today. I'll just play us out with one of the clips from the show. But that's really about all I've got for today. This is Chad with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. And I will catch you all in the next one. See you later, everybody.
There's two people in America who think words are violence: social justice warriors and cops.
Michael, I have a question.
I don't answer questions from police.
Love that you said that.
I'm not. Here's why. There's two people in America who think words are violence: social justice warriors and cops. If I call Alex the N-word, which I do all the time, and I will again, there's plenty of leftists who will tell you that it's appropriate for him to beat me into a coma because, hey, you shouldn't be calling black people the N-word. Cops are the only other group where if you say the wrong thing, they feel entitled to knock you into a coma and pat themselves on the back for it. Anything you say can and will be used against you. If you tell a cop something that would help your side of the story in a lawsuit, in a criminal case, that's hearsay. Oh, he said, but if he doesn't remember something you said or gets it a little wrong, like he did repeatedly today, all of a sudden it's his word against yours, and now your story doesn't add up, and now you're a liar, and now very quickly bad things are going to happen to you as a consequence. There's two.